Hey guys, alrighty. So we had a nice little squeeze today. So as you guys can see, I decided to finally convert over to dark mode. Um, Honestly, it's kind of funny. It's been a long run joke in the Discord about me not using dark mode, but um, I just never really enjoyed the dark mode here on TradingView. I just find it so hard to for my eyes to really focus on the colors for some reason. But now that I'm not really trading off of TradingView. Huh. I usually think or swim more, which is I will say though on think or swim I love their dark mode, but I find their dark mode to be so much brighter. And far easier on the eyes. It's a really good backdrop color, and I just feel like it's way easier on the eyes. Here on TradingView, I'm gonna probably keep it just because my screen's been kind of giving me headaches with just how bright everything is. So I kind of switched over Discord and TradingView today to dark mode. But all right, so we got yesterday. I was talking about how this doji candle right here was likely going to be a big bounce. Now we had jobless data this morning, and we really actually had a negative reaction at job data, but we were already gapped up so much from overnight, it really didn't matter. But what was really interesting today is the volatility that we had. Now, we only put in a $4.64 day, pretty big movement, but we rallied from open, and NQ and ES were very much so diverged today. It was the first day in a long time that we had strong divergence at open. But NQ was very strong, looked really good to the upside, but ES looked so weak. So tech as a whole today got a big bounce. You got Apple up 3.26%, Meta 2%, Nvidia and AMD up 1.5-ish%. AMD though, a lot of movement today. It was up 5% at one point. It went red at one point, and then it closed green again. But overall, we finally broke out. We got a new demand at 471.7. So it's we're at an interesting point here. You can see we've had two major rejections in this trend. If we reject a third time, then likely we're coming back down. Now I will say though, this would be our second big bounce off of the EMA supports here. So this looks like a short bounce. We didn't go back down to previous where we could break out here. We are about at close. We're about $3 and about 50 cents ish from all-time highs. So again, if we get this close to all-time highs and we can't break through, that's a big deal. Now, I also want to point out this super important double supply at 477.86 to 478.15. While we did bounce here and we do look certainly bullish, I would like to see a closure over 478.15 before I will ultimately bullish. Tomorrow is an OPEX day. That can bring a lot of volatility and just unpredictableness. The potential for a double top and drop is extremely high. We also get UMISH consumer sentiment tomorrow. That has historically been a big mover in the market, so that also could send us one way or another. The other big thing, and I'll get to it after in a little bit here, is the dollar and the 10-year did not participate in this move. Again, yesterday I was talking about, and we'll talk about when we get to the chart, I was talking about how we on basically ES and ES and NQ, and then VIX, dollar, in 10-year were all set up for the same reversal move. The VIX, ES, and NQ participated in the reversal today. The dollar and the 10-year did not. That could lead to a potential drop overnight. Today honestly felt almost like a squeeze day, kind of like we got back here on the 8th, where we just popped really hard and really aggressively, but then it kind of petered out. So kind of see how this plays out into tomorrow. Going over to ES here, same thing. We got a new demand at 47.71. We did close over our previous, so actually this is not the right supply. There we go. 48.13 is actually our supply. So TradingView moves my levels. It really drives me nuts, but so we closed just barely over 48.13 there. So that is our previous supply from back here. If we hard reject, double top, and come back lower, that is extremely bearish. Now, again, for me to feel ultimately super bullish, I would like a closure over at least 48.35. The supply from back here, our high from December 28th and 29th at double top. I would like to see a closure over that level, a follow through bull day, and then I would feel pretty bullish going into next week. As of right now, the charts are hard to deny, especially as we transition over to the Qs and NQ. It is extremely hard to deny how bullish this chart looks, but at the same time, I also don't want to commit to the upside until we close over some key levels on SPY. Now on Qs here, same thing, we got a new demand at 406.05. We broke out. We actually closed a full candle back over the daily 8 EMA. We broke through, made a new all-time high, and we closed over our double supply of 409.58 to 411.52. We did leave about a $2 gap right here also. So again, same thing. I would like to see a follow-through day, and that would make me much, much more bullish. There is potential where we could either get a huge gap down overnight and leave an abandoned baby, or at least double top and push back down. Now again, the daily on Qs and NQ is extremely bullish. We have some of the strongest buying that we have had since back in this area, which again is a perfect match. So that's a good thing. You want to see buyers coming back in, which they are if we're making new all-time highs. Now we do need to see the strength of buying reach a peak that we were at back here, which we have not done yet. Going over to NQ here, same thing. We got a new demand right there at 16,855. Hard bounce, nice old bullish engulfing daily candle here. We broke through 16,981, which was the previous supply here. Now we could not quite get through 17,130. So this is where the potential again for the double top and drop is there. If we close over 17,130, then I am fairly bullish. I would expect a much bigger continuation next week, but I do think there's potential that we could still reject and maybe put a new supply level in. So it'll be really interesting to kind of see how the week closes out here. Just to touch real quick on the VIX, we did close back under 14.14. We did not get a new supply yet, but we are still over the 8 EMA here. So again, VIX is still in a general uptrend here, but I'm not putting a lot of weight in the VIX. So this is what I was talking about here on the dollar. So you can see we had our huge breakout on Tuesday. We had the doji reversal right there, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you guys can see a little better here. The doji reversal right there yesterday, that perfectly would have made for a downside move, which would have made sense to get a downside move today since markets had such a large move to the upside. However, we actually closed a new high, and we actually put in another doji. So really, if you look at this orange line is the 50 EMA support. We actually backtested and bounced off the 50 EMA. Likely at open of the next candle, we're actually going to get an 8 and 50 EMA crossover to the upside. Now, I would say that we need to see a closure over 103.72 before we really are bullish, but that is to be determined. Now, again, I would say for a super bullish chart, I would like to see a closure over 103.7. But if we close back under 103.075, likely that would be very, very bullish. Now, going over to the 10-year here, same thing. So this actually, again, I don't see anything bearish or bullish about this, sorry. So, we held the 200 EMA support. We actually broke through, and that's again the orange line, the 50 EMA resistance. So we are now going to close over the 50 EMA, and we are again holding over the 8 EMA. This is the first time that we've had multiple candles over the 8 EMA in almost 2 weeks. So again, I would like to see a breakthrough right here. This is the 100 of 4.195, and I really think that the bears need to see 4.237 to 4.260% area to really send this to the downside. But for the most part here, you know, really until we're back under 4.05%, it's hard looking at the 10-year to feel bullish for the market. So this is where I have a little thought in the back of my head that we might see a massive gap down overnight, or at least tomorrow we might see a really large negative reaction in the markets. I would have expected, again, you know, I wouldn't expect almost a whole percent rise in the 10-year, and to see you know, markets close, you know, SPY closed almost 1% up. So that doesn't quite correlate how you would like to see that. So I'm really curious to see what the overnight brings. You know, the last couple, really the last week or two, we have had some strong overnight moves. We haven't seen those in quite a while. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a major gap down overnight. But if we don't get that major gap down and we get a big sell-off on the dollar and the 10-year, we could be looking at a massive rally through all-time highs to close the week out tomorrow. But all right, guys, I hope you guys had a good day trading today, and I will see you guys tomorrow.